Welcome back to Autism at Home, brought to you by us at Early Autism Project Malaysia through our non-profit initiative, The Hope Project. My name is Joshabet Isaacs, and it's so nice to see you again. Welcome to the 7th part on the topic of imitation. In the previous lessons, we have talked about a range of topics on imitation, from the importance of imitation to the progression of imitation. This includes different types of imitation: naturalized, object cued, gross motor, fine motor, as well as block imitation. In this lesson, we will be covering another type of imitation that precedes one of the main goals of imitation, which is speech. In this lesson, we will be talking about oral motor imitation. Let's watch a few examples of these, shall we?
Okay, I've got a smile to eat. So let's do this. Yeah, well done. Smile. Okay, let's blow the bubbles. Whoa! Whoa! Good job! Oh, so many bubbles. One more. Let's go. Well done. Whoa! Wow, so many. Woohoo! Someone's thirsty. Drink it. Well done! Ooh, so nice water!
So, what is oral motor imitation? If we look at the area around our mouth, we may not realize that there are specific muscles in our mouth, jaw, tongue, lips, and cheeks. These movements made in these oral structures are all considered oral motor skills. The strength, coordination, and control of these structures are critical and essential for tasks involving feeding, like sucking, biting, crunching, licking, and chewing. These are the skills that are essential for the development of speech articulation and facial expression. So, let's start. Have you taken your child to the dentist? If yes, how did your child respond when the dentist said, "Open your mouth," or say, "Ah"? How would your child respond when you say "smile" during a photo shoot session? Growing up, we probably never realized that when we smiled at cameras, we were actually using our oral motor skills. The same goes for when we used to stick out our tongue jokingly at a friend, or when we used to blow through our drinking straws into our drink to create bubbles. So why is oral motor skills so important? When we look at the movements we make, when we practice our oral motor skills, the movements may create some sounds. For example, when we smile, the side stretching of our mouth will promote the development of the E sound. Then when we blow bubbles, the lip rounding shape of our mouth can promote the W, U, and O sounds. Essentially, oral motor skills will build up to verbal imitation, which would then lead to the development of speech. Now, before we start teaching, let's look at some of the prerequisite skills first. Referring to the building blocks of learning, most important skills to have include engagement and motivation, which precede cooperation at and off the table. Next comes attention and some imitation. Let's go through the method of teaching fine motor imitation. What are the materials needed to teach this skill? This will vary from one child to another. This will also depend on the specific oral motor action your child will be working on. In this lesson, we will be talking about breaking down the oral motor action of smiling. The easiest oral motor actions to imitate will possibly be the ones with sounds, because they hopefully get a child's attention and can be motivating. So like ah, or ee, or So first, show a video model of a person imitating another person doing that oral motor imitation, such as smiling and saying "ee" after the verbal cue or instruction is given. Then say "do this" and smile "ee" at your child, preferably at their eye level. When your child is successful in imitating this action, praise them or give them a quick interactive reinforcement and repeat the step a few more times to get that sufficient practice. And as we always say, remember to give strong reinforcement to your child for a job well done. To make the teaching more fun, you could also consider doing this on your phone with the front-facing camera turned on. Your child can see you smiling via the camera and later imitate. Or consider even using camera filters too, if they're not too distracting to your child. So let's watch this practice.
Do this. Well done! That's very nice. Here you go, your kangaroo sticker.
That is generally the method recommended to teach your child oral motor imitation. In the event your child is unable to smile, we recommend checking if it's a challenge with imitation or is it a challenge specific to their oral motor abilities. When your child has shown consistent success in one action after another, then you may be able to introduce a new skill to teach. As a general guideline, perhaps when you have observed 9 successes out of 10 trials, then you may introduce the next skill. Some of the oral motor movements we commonly teach our children at EAP include blowing bubbles, drinking from a straw, opening their mouth, sticking your tongue out, and the list goes on. It is also important to practice learned skills in different settings, which typically includes a different location, or working with different people, and possibly even with different materials if needed. This is to ensure that your child is able to generalize their skills and maintain them. If you feel that there is a specific challenge in your child's oral motor abilities, maybe having some issues with the muscles in their mouth that is contributing to problems with chewing or swallowing, we recommend seeing a developmental pediatrician or a speech therapist to do a full oral motor assessment. This is to also rule out any specific oral motor challenges before we continue to teach them oral motor movements.
Pop quiz. Which of these is an example of an activity or action that practices oral motor skills? Blowing birthday candles, sticking tongue out on ice cream, drinking with a straw, or all of the above? The answer is B, all of the above. Sandra goes through oral motor imitation practices 2 times a day with her mother, with each time consisting 3 trials. Sandra requires each skill to be broken down to very small components and multiple practices to master a skill. What can be done to help increase her speed of skill acquisition? Hire a new teacher, request for a reinforcer, increase practices and trials per day, or all of the above? Yes, the answer is C. At EAP, we have kids who practice oral motor imitation 7 times a day, with each time consisting 4 to 5 trials. The number of trials and practices increase the chances of them acquiring the skill at a faster rate.
Now it's your turn. Give yourself a try and teach your child 2 new oral motor actions. Once your child is able to learn these new skills, try generalizing them in new settings, such as opening their mouth when seeing the actual dentist or smiling for a photo with different or with more people. Thank you so much for watching our lesson on oral motor imitation. In the next lesson, we will be talking about verbal imitation. If you haven't already, do check out our free online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the corresponding articles and downloadables for you. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay updated. Thank you so much for staying with us through this series, and we will see you very soon.